27 nations pledged nearly $10 billion to fight climate change, US not among them.
Here's a summary of the article.
The US did not participate in an international climate fund Friday in which wealthy countries pledged nearly $10 billion to assist poorer nations in combating climate change. The Green Climate Fund, which organized the effort, said in a statement that 27 countries combined to pledge $9.8 billion by the end of a two-day conference in Paris later this year. Advertisement. We are honored by the global community's confidence in the fund's ability to support countries and communities to raise and realize their climate ambitions, said Yannick Glemarec, executive director of the Green Climate Fund. The coming years are critical as we empower our partners to innovate, accelerate and scale up climate investments that match the pace and urgency of the climate crisis, he continued. The U.S. did not join the 27 nations in pledging any money, as has decided to cut off funds to the group, a decision that drew rebukes from climate advocacy groups. The Climate Action Network, which consists of more than 1,300 non-governmental organizations, said in a statement that the US and Australia, which also did not donate any money, have turned their backs on the world's poorest and have once again isolated themselves in global efforts to respond to the climate emergency. https://t.co/t2i6q7loan.-Climate Action Network International October 25, 2019. Despite the absence of the two powers, the Green Climate Fund expressed optimism that it would be able to find supplemental resources. We will most likely be able to find additional resources before the United Nations Annual Climate Conference in December, Glemarec told the Associated Press.
This post received a score of 17,709, with an upvote ratio of 92%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Off topic, why are there always glaring grammatical errors in articles from The Hill?
$10 billion is really a pathetic amount even without the US.
I think corporations need to be held responsible for the costs they disperse to the rest of the world when their manufacturing processes harm the environment. I think this should be retroactive, like they have to pay for the damage they have already done, not start paying for what they do every day. But also that. And if they can't afford to pay, they don't get to stay in business. If their operations aren't profitable for the planet Earth, they should operate on a different planet.
You've described a carbon tax. It might be hard to make it retroactive, but it would be possible to sue companies like ExxonMobil for retroactive dues since they knew the damage they were causing. Either way, a carbon tax is absolutely needed if we are going to reach carbon equilibrium.
Lol. The legal counsel at Exxon just licked their lips at the very thought of applying a retroactive duty. The sheer amount of litigation would be staggering.
There's precedent. The Superfund legislation was based on retroactive responsibility. But yeah, lots of litigation would result.
In other news, apartment building on fire, residents pledge 3 buckets of water and a bag of ice.
Greater than in other news, apartment building on fire, residents pledge 3 buckets of water and a bag of ice. While the person who is the second largest contributor to the fire does nothing.
Second largest contributor believes that the fire is a hoax.
Second largest contributor just keeps complaining about the largest contributor.
The US military budget is $693 billion. This is a joke.
We should just bomb and shoot the climate change.
Greater than fight climate change. How does one fight climate change? Where does that money actually go?
Greater than how does one fight climate change? You just build a huge rocket with a giant hand in the tip and fist the sun right in its whore mouth. Also, you could invest the money in renewable energy projects, or even better, in infrastructure projects and technology that make renewables more viable.
This is a joke, right? 10B is the combined total of these 27 nations. You can be for or against climate action. This means nothing to both groups.
Can anyone here post what they would use that money for in fighting climate change? This sub constantly talks about how the world is fucked, but I rarely see anyone in here brainstorming actual solutions to anything. This needs to be approached using an OOM, order of magnitude analysis. 1. With enough economy of scale, new plant construction costs can eventually become competitive with fossil fuel plants. Replace every coal, natural gas power plant with nuclear.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.